Well, the definitive evidence of how America's elections are hacked has arrived. The missing link has been discovered. Now, this is exposed by Black Box Voting, which was founded in 2003. They're a nonpartisan investigative group that does reporting on elections in an attempt to stop vote rigging. So they have found the source code written within these electronic voting machines. They're there to rig the election from the start. The way this works is they skim the votes by dealing in percentages. They round up in percentages, and they use hidden decimal points. Now, vote fraud expert Bev Harris joined the Alex Jones Show today, breaking this all down. I mean, this is bombshell. The full report is up on NoWorldOrder.com, but here's an excerpt.
So if you start doing things like I'm going to do every third vote, or I'm going to add 100 votes here, you're not going to be very precise. Instead, you need to do what in finance they call an allocation. You say, whatever number of people show up, the guy is going to get X percent of those votes, whatever they are. Now, think about this. If you have 100 votes and you say, my guy's going to get 43%, that's 43 votes. But if you have 99 people show up, what's going to happen? You're going to end up with 42 point something votes. So if your system is not capable of counting votes with decimals, it can't do that allocation. And what he did was he knew that that's how it would have to be done, and it would have to be very specific down to the precinct level. The databases can be configured any way you want, and they should be configured and used to be configured to count each vote as a whole number. It's called counting it as an integer. He went in and looked and said, let me see. It should count it as a whole integer. They had changed the setting in all of the voting machines in America. Now, this is the master computers. This is not the machines out in the precincts. This is the master computers that control all the voting machines.
Bev, this is incredible. And again, time and time again, you and your researchers tirelessly around the country have exposed the different ways they're doing it. And so I guess as a top fraud investigator, you're able to reverse engineer, okay, if we are going to steal it, how will we do it? Let's look for this. And then sure enough, you've caught them dialing in remotely.
It's amazing. Yeah. In other words, anybody can sit there and go, well, this looks like a vulnerability, theoretically. This is not a theory. This is real. This is something that was put into the system. They actually changed the setting. We can actually go back and figure out now that we know it, exactly the date that the setting was changed, and that it migrated to all the other manufacturers in the U.S. So now, at this point, the setting is in there to be able to allocate votes by percent to in basically 99% of the votes in the U.S. And then he went on, and he basically proved it. He said, now that I know that's in there, I think I can allocate the votes. And it is stunning when you see the demo.
Let's be clear. You're finding this in the voting software. You go in, it's this algorithm or system to be able to basically program it to show the outcome you want by shaving votes. I mean, in a lay person who's not an expert like you or a top computer programmer, what's happening?
So there's this one central computer, which at the end of the day, all the votes come to it. That's where you take it. You don't run around to 5,000 different things in precincts. You wait till the votes come to you, and then you have your way with them. And it's very, very precise. It's invisible. And there's absolutely, it doesn't matter whether the system's on the internet or not. None of the stuff that they say as a protection matters at all. You have your way with them. Then once you control the votes in whatever way you want, for whatever target you want, this can be done by one or a couple of people across whole jurisdictions. I actually didn't want to write the story unless I was absolutely sure. So not only did I see him do it, but I had him show me how it was done. And I took some vote databases, real vote databases that I have. One of them was the entire state of Alaska, the vote database from the 2004 election. I was able to change every precinct in the state of Alaska in 4 seconds.
Is it not clear that Hillary and the media are trying to sell the idea that there is an election fraud and that Trump's going to lose by a landslide when the polls and everything else show something opposite?
Let me put it this way. Of course, things have been very surprising of late. But if she is still viable in any way, whether or not she wins, she will win.
Now, for the full report, go to Infowars.com. We've got an article up right now that has embedded Alex Jones's breaking down all the information that Bev Harris provided on the show today. As well, we have her mini documentary exposing this voter fraud and how the elections could be rigged by a Soros-connected company. This is a George Soros company we've been telling you about, Smartmatic. They're not officially recognized by the Commission on Elections, but for some reason, they're using these machines in a lot of the swing states there. So this is key information. This is the smoking gun. This is bombshell. You need to share that report with everyone on all of your social media accounts. Get the word out before people get out there and vote. Obama tries to say that the elections aren't rigged. What does that even mean? Well, here's what it means. And Bev Harris breaks it down with black box voting of exactly how that can be done. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. There's facts there. It's a conspiracy.